Hi, Jay Fallon here. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So today a news report came out on the ABC. I got to admit, I did smile a little, had a little chuckle to myself over this report, which I'm going to get into in a second. Just want to remind you. So I was telling you the other day that I was a former uh, police officer with the Queensland Police Service. I've actually just resigned. That was all finalised in October of 2022. I was actually forced into resigning because I refused to get the vaccination. That vaccine that was apparently going to save the world. Supposedly prevented us from getting the virus, prevented us from going to hospital, prevented death, and then it came out that actually didn't do any of that. But hey, still go and get the jab anyway. So obviously my workplace said, Jay, you have to go and get the vaccine, otherwise you're out of a job. We'll give you 7 days pay and you're out. You just stood down without pay. So that's what happened to me, basically, in a nutshell. And then everything went through. I got tired of, you know, just got tired of trying to fight it, really. And then I just pulled the pin. I just resigned. That was it. So almost a year of trying to push back, but there was the Queensland police were not going to change their mind. Everyone else did. Queensland Health, Queensland Education, every other workplace, except for Queensland Police. We have the brilliant Katarina Carroll as our police commissioner, who obviously just finished up with that inquiry, that scathing inquiry, which, just it was a scathing report. It was just, mate, it was brutal. And she had no real answers. And yet still, none of the leadership are going to lose their job. The police union, they're still standing there saying, oh, we don't, we stand by some of the recommendations in the report, but we don't want these ones because, they want the status quo to keep going. The police commissioner, she just wants the status quo to keep going because it's benefited her career so far. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was today. First of all, I'm going to just play a little bit of this video, and just as a reminder of what happened last year. This little bit of a video, just a reminder of what happened last year, what was going on, and and then I'll talk a bit about this.
She says she'll fill the gaps by shifting police around the state, increasing overtime and having some officers work extra.
So, like I said, the police commissioner said she'll fill the gaps just by giving out overtime, just throwing money out there, just giving out overtime. This is when there was concern about so many police leaving the job because of the vaccine mandates that people didn't agree with. Okay. So her answer was overtime. Queensland's a massive, massive state, but that doesn't matter. We'll just move people around. Forget about the fact that people have families, people have responsibilities in other areas. We'll just force people to move. That was her logical thinking. It didn't quite work out that well for her, but anyway, I'll keep playing this a little bit more.
Shifts.
We can even graduate more recruits if we need.
That fella there, Mark Ryan, police minister, he is still the police minister. Again, he didn't lose his job in this inquiry, but what does he say? We'll just get more recruits. Doesn't matter. If all these people, all these police officers, they don't want to get the jab, doesn't matter. We'll just get more recruits. Katarina Carroll, she doesn't see the problem. We'll just move people around. We'll just give all the officers that want to obey, we'll just give them overtime.
So there's sufficient resources there.
There weren't enough police available to defend our border. The military called in just 4.
Yeah. So as you heard, Mark Ryan, there's sufficient recruits there, sufficient facilities, but there weren't enough people, weren't enough police to help with the border. But no, apparently we can just get new recruits. That's all. Doesn't really matter. Just get new recruits, and everything else will be good. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, we had this when they were all talking about that. Okay, and like I said, in this interview with Channel 7, that was what it was being reported that there was a lot, I think it was close to 2,000 police officers that were saying, no, we don't want to get the vaccine. and there were concerns that we would be very short-staffed, and that was their answer to it all. We'll just move police around. We'll just throw out overtime, just throw out money. And, we'll just recruit more people because it's that easy. It's that easy. It doesn't really matter. So it just makes me laugh because today in the ABC, there's another article that's come out, and it really makes you realize, just how, I don't know, just how delusional maybe these people were when they were talking about all of these things, because it's really just not as easy as what people say. And this article comes out from ABC. Like I said, the headline says Queensland Police Service cancels recruit training in face of low enrollment despite high workforce attrition. So it says, the Queensland Police Service, QPS, has cancelled one of its recruit training periods due to a lack of enrollments. The same people that said, it doesn't matter. We'll just get more recruits. Doesn't really matter. It's all good. No. Now they can't. Apparently they can't find enough people, and they're canceling intakes. So going on, it says the intake was scheduled for December at the Oxley Academy in Brisbane. Wait, I don't know. It's I don't understand how you can just cancel a whole intake like that. But anyway, going on. So its cancellation comes as the service desperately tries to draw recruits, waiving entrance requirements and test fees, and address cultural issues highlighted in recent reports. There's cultural issues like sexism, racism, blatant racism. Little matter of not handling DVs, domestic violence issues properly. Just those little things. So Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll maintained there was a strong pipeline of interest for the force. There is a strong pipeline, she says to her delusional self. While the minister, Mark Ryan, the guy who said in that a year ago, we'll just get more recruits. That's all. He insisted the government was on track to grow the service by 1,450 new police officers. I think they're not. The lack of enrolments has been attributed to a symptom of the current climate, as well as recent challenges faced by the service. It doesn't matter the sector, the industry, the location. There is a challenge at the moment getting staff, Mr. Ryan said. Well, gee. Commissioner Carroll added, we've all got to admit the times are challenging at the moment. That's what they've got to admit. They don't want to admit that maybe it's the leadership. Maybe people don't want to work for that leadership. We'll just admit that there's a challenge. The cancellation comes amid a series of controversies surrounding the service, including most recently a report into its response to domestic violence, which revealed sexism, racism, and unchecked cultural issues had metastasized in the ranks. The report provides a big light on issues that need to change, Mr. Ryan said. I would say that Mr. Ryan needs to change. He needs to get out of that role. So the report made 78 recommendations. Further down this article, it says there's staff losses. Well, Commissioner Carroll said she was also keeping an eye. She's keeping an eye on the service's rising rate of attrition, the rate of staff leaving the service, which she said had risen from 3% to 5.5%. Now, so it's risen. I'll tell you why it's risen. As a former police officer, as someone who's just resigned just over a month ago, okay, who was forced out without pay a little over a year ago, I'll tell you why. It's because people feel disillusioned with the service, because Queensland Police Service have this little motto, this little area, and they say it's our people matter. And police realize that our people don't matter. They don't matter. Not to the service, not in reality. Because when our commissioner stands up and says, it's all good, I just don't see the problem. You just have to get it done. I don't really care why you don't want to get the vaccine. You just have to do it. And when the police minister stands up and said, we'll just get more recruits, easy peasy. And then the actual officers themselves are sitting there going, well, it took me a long time to get in our positions. You work in a specialized position. There are very few people that can just step into your role. And not even just step into your role. It just takes years of training to step into a lot of these positions. But yet their answer was, we'll just get new recruits. Doesn't matter. What else can I say? Yet again, this just highlights how we're being failed. Our Queensland Police Service are failing us, the public. I'm a proud Queenslander. Put my hand up. The government's failing us. They don't want to make changes. They just want to keep the status quo going. They put on all these reports, these inquiries, just make a big show of everything. But as usual, nothing will change. The police commissioner will continue on her merry way. She wants the status quo because the status quo has gotten her into her current position. The police union will continue to be toothless and powerless because, they want to be. They don't want to rock the boat too much because they're all on fantastic money, getting paid the big bucks to do nothing. And the police minister, well, he can just point the finger at everyone else, really. He doesn't have to do anything. But hey, nothing will change because they're not really being held accountable. As I keep saying, we need to hold our politicians accountable. We need to hold our government agencies accountable. This isn't good enough. There are reasons why the attrition rate in the police is so high. And if the police commissioner actually decided to be honest with herself for once, maybe she would admit that she has made some catastrophic mistakes in the last 2 years. Maybe she could admit that the vaccine mandate was unneeded, uncalled for, unwarranted, was just a pathetic and stupid idea, and you didn't need to do it. But you forced a lot of good officers out because of your arrogance. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm not the one cancelling recruit intakes because not enough people want to join up anymore, and then scratching my head and making excuses when they I shouldn't laugh at it. It's not a good thing, but oh my goodness. When you see something and you think, okay, so you're just reaping what you've sowed. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Tell me if I'm off base. Tell me something. That's just my opinion. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.